Okay, guys, I got some good news and bad news about Star Godot, the new version of Star. The good news, it is live. You can play it right now. You can try it out. The bad news is it's kind of a hot mess. So we are going to talk about all of that on today's Frugal BC. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Frugal BC here, and we are talking about Star, the Godot version, the new version that's supposed to eliminate cheating and just work better overall. Right now, not working so good. Now, I do want to say it's in beta. Star has been in beta since it's existed, so it's nothing new. It's been in beta. However, I think the new version is really more of an alpha version than it is a beta version. And it surprises me because they've been working on this for they've had a version for a small set of players for like 3 months. Did I definitely expected there to be some bugs in it? Sure, it's they're still working out the kinks. I get that, and that's what this first competition that is going on right now is supposed to be. It's supposed to work out the bugs, but the number of bugs are actually really, really surprising. We're going to break that down, but there's also a lot I like about the new version, so I don't want to paper over that because there is some very good stuff here. By the way, guys, if you like this kind of content, where we're always doing the experiment, trying things out, and just letting you know how they go in the crypto realm, you can leave a like below if you like, and if you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button, I appreciate that a lot. We got a lot of experiments going on, including our Algorand DeFi experiment, and hopefully soon an HBAR DeFi experiment as well. So keep an eye out for that. Meanwhile, we're going to get back to Star Godot. So I want to kind of I'm going to show you what this looks like in just a second so you can take a look. Now, if you want to play it, by the way, I want to tell you here's how you do it. You don't, if you may have Star already saved in your tab, what you got to do is go to the Gala page, the main Gala page, find Star on it, and click play from there. That will take you to the Godot version. It'll say TSG playtest in your link. That's how you know you're at the right spot. If it still says Star in the link, you're definitely not the right one. If it takes you to a land selection screen, you know it's the wrong one because the new one is it's automatically giving you 4, starting everyone on the same one, just so you know. So that's how you tell the new version from the old. There's a lot of confusion because, of course, Star, the team just simply can't put out good comprehensive information. People end up asking the same question in Discord about 2,300 times because it's not anywhere, and they bury it somewhere. Someone suggested a weekly blog post, and they acted like that was insane. I'm like, that would actually probably clear up a lot of the problems for Star and communication, but whatever. I'm going to start off with, I'm going to say I actually do like this version of Star. I think it takes a little getting used to. When you place items, you have to go to the store first, click on them, and then place them. And there's I kind of put that in the good and bad territory. So I'm gonna talk about it just right now because I kind of like the way it works in some ways, but also like you can't just click on a space to find out what the attributes are. Like if you're looking for a space that has passive water, you can't do that until you select something from the store. The store looks a lot different right now. It kind of works a little bit clunkier depending on what your computer are on. It just doesn't work well with my mouse, and it's also been really hard to grab and move the town. I didn't notice that on my laptop as much, so it seemed to work a little bit better on my laptop, and I was able to zoom in and out pretty easily. The graphics are way smoother. There's little bugs, and we'll talk about that, but the graphics are much smoother. This is in the good category. People seem to move smoother and faster. It doesn't look a lot different. It actually looks almost exactly like the old Star, except it's just smoother and the characters move a lot better. So now in the new version, supposedly it's supposed to eliminate cheating, or at least the kind of cheating that was going on in the old Star, because the old Star worked on the web version with you could just simply edit the script and give yourself like NFTs and all kinds of stuff. Not having that work that way, that it works on a separate engine on their servers versus being on this web-based idea. I don't really fully understand it, but the Godot version is supposed to eliminate that ability to simply change the script because it's all loaded on the back end. I'm not a coder. I only kind of understand what they're talking about. Oh, and one thing I like too is that the buildings go live once you finish them. As soon as a building is finished being built, it just turns on automatically. Now that's a good bad scenario too, also because if it's good for if you're building like a farm tractor, because you want them to just work right away. But maybe you were building stuff for gas production, but you didn't want to turn it all on until everything was built. Then there's a little bit of a problem there. But so overall, I'm still putting that in the good category. Okay, now here's the bad side, and almost all of it is buggy. So we're going to talk about the bugs first. The main feature that I think everyone was looking forward to with the Godot version was the off that you would have, it would work offline. That is not active yet. There's a little button for that to push, but it isn't live yet, so you can't use it. So this is right now we're in the test competition. This is to test it out to fix the bugs and all that kinds of stuff. And the next one next week, because it's Mayhem, so there's competitions every week. Supposedly by the start of that one, they're supposed to have it on. I'm not holding my breath on that because, well, Townstar tends to miss a lot of deadlines. They did hit this one though. I give them credit. They got Godot live. It's kind of a hot mess. Well, let's get into it. I think the big thing that everyone's frustrated, and we're just going to list the bugs here. The biggest bug is that it will continually log you out. A lot of players are reporting that they just can't get in the first place. I haven't had a problem getting in, but I've definitely been like shut out of it a number of times. And so that's really frustrating because it just kills your momentum. And of course, if it happens overnight, you know, you lose all that momentum. And I didn't really want to leave my computer on. It went dead right before I went to sleep, and I was like, it's fine. I'll just start building in the morning again. I just don't care about it that much. It's just a test anyway. And I really hope that online version is or the offline version is open by then. So that's what I'm hoping for. Houses are sleeping when they're not. And actually, this is kind of all over the place. Like sometimes I had 3 active windmills and one says sleeping, one doesn't. And then all of a sudden, both of them say sleeping. It's so weird because I have all of them activated and a bunch of other stuff. One of them, I remember the lumber mill would say it's sleeping when it's on, and then when I turn it off, it's no longer sleeping. It's like giving you the opposite signal. Yeah, the load times for the autosell, this is kind of more minor, but it takes a while. It doesn't happen, like it's almost a full minute, it seems, between the time that you get the 10th item to be able to sell and the time it actually sells. But one thing I forgot to put in the good category is that the Townstar seems to remember now, it remembers your auto sell settings. So if you get logged out, you don't have to like re-enter that. And I found that so annoying because there's a lot of times when I would transfer between computers and stuff. And it was really annoying to have to like redo that every time. And especially if I forgot, suddenly you find yourself without any cash. I should have put that in the good. My apologies. That is a good thing. One of the things I like about the Godot version. Yeah, the new platform, it seemed a little tricky, a little buggy at first, just to do regular things, just to move in the menus. I don't know if I like the whole place picking first and then placing. There's some good parts about that and some that aren't so good. Now, that being said, there's a decorative element because, you know, now you have the 64 by 64 grid, plus there's like a little microgrid within that, so you can actually set building, you can offset them between 2 main panels, and there's also decorations and stuff. You know, the problem is that all of the plots still take up the full square. So the problem is, like, if you're going to use decorations, that's going to take up valuable space that you're going to use for other stuff. So there's not a lot of incentive to use those decorations. I wish they had space around it so that you could put, and there definitely is room for it on most of these things. It'd be cool if you could put the decorations around the actual building without sacrificing valuable space. So it just seems like the whole offset thing, I don't know if a lot of people are really using it who are competitive players. It just seems kind of pointless. I was just happy with the 64 by 64 grid, or they need to make things different sizes so there's some, you know, you actually gain something from it. And one of the weird things that popped up was, and I've heard there's a problem with the shrimp farm too. I've heard, I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm still trying to make pizza doughs. The shrimp farm's not working well from what I understand. But then also, like, my salt field that was next to the ocean at one point just suddenly stopped working. So the farmers just would not go to it. They would not. I even made an extra farmer and he wouldn't go nearby it, and he wouldn't go. He would go in his house before he would go over to the salt field. That was fixed by erasing it and rebuilding it. So a minor bug, but if you look at the Discord for Townstar right now, it is just full of people complaining about all the different bugs. So that is very interesting to me. You know what? Enough of my talking though. Why don't we go take a look at this game quick? Okay, so if you go under the games tab, this is what pops up, and this is how you play the new version. It's going to automatically go to the big screen, by the way. I'm not sure. This is an older computer, so I'm not sure how well it's going to load it. I've been using Brave, by the way. It's been working pretty well on Brave. My experience, from what I can tell, has been a lot better than a lot of the people I'm seeing on Discord. So all the stuff that I've laid out, it's actually been worse for a lot of people. There's just a lot of stuff that isn't working for a lot of people. And I haven't really had as many of those problems, to be fair. Yeah, so it'll bring you to the screen. You'll definitely want events, and then it will bring you to the new competition that, like, so this is like a test competition, so there's no rewards, but the next 3 will have rewards, plus there's meta rewards. I think it's like so many, if it's like 10, you do 10 of the meta for that competition, you get like 100 gala, and it goes up from there, something like that. Yeah, the funny thing is right before I went to film the video, it happened where it went to the death screen. It logs you out all the time. I think I included that. That's the one thing that's really annoying, is it just logs you out all the time. Well, to be fair, it's usually within, it's been on for a few hours, and then all of a sudden it just goes kaput. So here's the update town offline. You can see you can't do anything with it. And you can tell that this works a little bit differently too. You have to put an actual cell amount in, which obviously has to be at least 10, or you can't just leave it blank, it won't work, which I think is maybe unnecessary, but I've heard people say this X doesn't work for them. That's another thing to keep in mind. And here's my town. It's kind of hard to tell how smooth it is, just because this computer that I use to do my videos on is a little bit slow. But one other thing that is kind of buggy about this is the production monitor. I mean, it's saying like 0 per hour for almost all of these. I don't know if it just started over. Maybe I just gathered one of those. So yeah, it seems to be working better on my, but that's the production monitor, so that's still there. I don't know what the gems are, or the town really. And then here's, you have your points up here. You have to click on the little star thing to get your points to come up. I'm at 1058, so just under 1,000. Not bad for like not really taking the competition all that seriously. Otherwise, like I said, this is what the new screen looks like whenever that loads. There we go. And so you select it and then you place it. So if I want to place this, I hit select, and then I can move it around, and you can see how I can offset it if I want. But see, it'd be really cool if I could set it like here, but it has to be basically on one of these squares anyway. I can move it like this, but not closer to it. So everything basically takes 1 square. Now I don't need one of those, so I'm going to take that off. And you can see how the proximity, I should have kept that up while I said that, but you can see how the effects little bits come, explainers come up. So yeah, otherwise, and then NFTs work the same way. I can show you the NFT page looks kind of similar to the one before. Place 0 of 1. So 1 is how many you have, and then the 0 is how many you've placed. I've got my Express Depot out, other stuff. Now, it's interesting that they have the town here, because I'm assuming it's going to be more about the gala, because you'll be earning gala going forward. And yeah, in case you're wondering, earn is definitely not on yet. And they said pretty much it would go hand in hand, but I don't really believe that, and I think that's so far proven to be true. Yeah, so overall, like, I have very mixed feelings. I as much as buggy as it is, I kind of like the new style. It feels like without NFTs that you can still be somewhat competitive right now. I think it's because a lot of people are getting shut out. Maybe it's just because there aren't that many people playing. I don't think there's a ton of people playing, but kudos to the team for getting Godot out there. I think it probably would have been better if they could have done this like a month ago. So to have a month of bug fixing on the bigger servers. And I know that Sage had talked about that. So I'm not sure what happened there, because he had been talking about getting it out there for everybody much earlier. And then suddenly they just went quiet about that, which is pretty typical of Townstar. There's a whole bunch of stuff with this that I wish they would have put in some kind of post to explain it to people. Instead, it comes to people like me to try to figure it out and explain it. Their communication has just been terrible, and they spend all their time answering questions in Discord. And I think if you created posts on Medium and made like a blog post saying, hey, this is what's going on, you wouldn't have to answer the same questions 3 million times. It's going to happen anyway. I get it. But I think you could seriously reduce the number of questions, because the reason a lot of us are asking those questions is you can't find this stuff. They buried in these hour-long AMAs. How many people are going to watch that? I mean, if you just want the information quick and you want to move about your day, there aren't many ways to do that. So that's kind of a frustration. That being said, like, I'm actually kind of having some fun with Townstar again. I don't think you should ever think of this as an investment or any NFT game. Frankly, if you want to play it, think of it as something fun that you're doing that you might possibly gain financially, but probably won't. That's my take on NFT games. That's being said, you can play Townstar. May is a very good month to play Townstar because it's where all the rewards are. It's the May Mayhem season where they give away a lot of gala for, just basically doing the thing. So you basically right now you can earn because all you have to do is complete so many of the meta. This right now it's shrimp pizza. So if you make enough shrimp pizzas, you earn gala. Unless I'm misunderstanding that, but that's my understanding. Again, a lot of the information from Townstar is kind of hard to suss out sometimes, but that's it for me. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. I hope you're all doing great. Say great out there. Remember, not your keys, not your crypto. Get your stuff off exchanges. Ledger for the maximum safety. And as always, I'm Frugal BC, and I will see you in the future.